All right. So I just thought I was streaming to everybody, and I guess. All right. Technical difficulties, but hopefully people will. Tag him. All right. So I was streaming earlier, but I guess it wasn't working. So let's go back and start over. So the first thing I showed was dashboard, and then I'm going to show you the basics of SnapLayer. So basically, SnapLayer is an image editor, but the advantage to SnapLayer is that you will be able to create a template for any image, and then you'll be able to modify that template through different means. So those means will be links, query string links, and then also one of the main features of SnapLayer is that you'll also be able to edit and create image variations with an internal snapsheet. So one of the frustrations that I had when I was working with other personalization tools is they really limited like how I controlled my layers, how I was able to add my variables and the number of variables I could have, and what I would name them. I like to use lowercase. I don't know why I didn't here. Um, but what I'm gonna do is go ahead and show how these rows are created. So basically, we have this personalized image, and the default um, is John Doe here. And then I guess I hid. Oh, because I changed the company name, so that's why. So our text needs to actually match the variable. All right. So what I want to do is let's go ahead and duplicate this template. I like to do that from. Oh, I put in community templates. Let me see if I can duplicate. So it won't let me. Okay, let's save it. And then I'm going to take it out of community templates and duplicate it. So one of the advantages of SnapLayer is that when people make nice templates, they'll be able to share them as community templates. And that's just you just press the button share with community, and then it'll be available to everyone in the community, and different people will be able to upvote those. Um, so, but right now I want to keep these in my own template so um, I want to duplicate that one because what I want to do is actually remove some of these layers and then we'll recreate them. And so we have our snap sheet here. Let's start with this row of John Doe. Let's go ahead and delete the company column, and then that will go away. And then basically we have John Doe as our original layer. And then what we want to do is we want to add a row, and then we're able to add a new person. So we go ahead and grab from our images. You can upload images anytime, but I already have some images loaded. So let's go ahead and load Sally, and let's just call her Sally Smith. And now what we have is we have a image that's John Doe as a badge, image is Sally Smith. So if you're using this for your business, you'd be able to have a template to just create new employee badges as they come in. Um, let's create a new row, and let's just do one more. We'll just call this guy Mike Jones, and then we'll go ahead and use Mike Jones's image here. And now we have 3 employees. Now, if we wanted to make them be different companies, we could go ahead and add a text layer. You can add it from this floating bar. You can add it from over here. And basically what we want to do is we want to set the text. And then in our properties, since it's on a dark background, we're going to go ahead and make it light. And then one of the key features of SnapLayer, as we zoom in, is that, pan this up a little bit. When you have image customization, what happens is you might have a word that, or a string of words that's extremely long and you still need it to fit in this space. So if we have a text layer, all of our text is going to fit between these two ends of our text. We can also have a box, and so we can have text that goes multiple lines and fills an area. But this one we're just going to use a line because we just want to keep the company name on one line. And then you can set a max value. So say we can say, well, this can go up really big. It can go up to like 100 pixels. Or we want to keep it down closer to like 9 pixels, 7 pixels. So now it's just a text layer. So that means we can just change this text one time. But that's not really what we want to do with a software like this. We want to set this up so that we can change the text at that spot with our snap sheet. We can change it later on when we have our URL and our API integrations. And so we can basically have the templated image and we can change the text just based on the data that we feed in. So the nice thing about that is, say that you're running an online course or you have an employee onboarding, you need to give them their badge. The system can automatically create that badge and send it to the printer just from having the customer's name and uploading an image. I'll show in future videos and things like that how to set that up. But right now we've just got this text content, and that would just make it be one piece of text. If the text was the same on all the images, that'd be fine. But in our case, we want to have a different company for each employee. So we don't have a variable for companies yet. So let's go ahead. We can add variables through our column settings because each variable is a column. We can add it through our variable settings. So let's go ahead and add a variable as company. So it defaults to just a default name, but let's type in company. And then let's just we can put in the default value for the company. So we had Acme Widgets before. Let's go back to that. So Acme Widgets is the default company. Now everybody works for Acme Widgets. Now we have two layers here. That's why it's overlapping, because we did this earlier. So let's go ahead and select the one that that's the one we just did. So this is the old one. So I'm going to get rid of that one, show you how we built that. So we have our text layer here. If we select the text, it's going to give us the opportunity to put any of our variables right into the text. We can put it inline and just have different variables in the text that we write, or we can make the whole text be a variable. So we can go ahead and select company, and that's going to make this all be the variable. So now it says Acme Widgets because it's drawing from this row, and that is labeled as Acme Widgets. That's our default name for the company. And then as you can see, let's go to our variables. We can actually see where our variables are in our image by going to our variables and swapping over to the variable view. And that way we can find any variables, any editable variables in our image. So we're going to show our values. And then if we want to change this per row, we just go ahead and go to the next row. We can just select it. We can tab to it. Whatever. We have all these ways to put data in quickly in the spreadsheet to make many customized images depending on our use. So Sally Smith, let's say that Sally Smith works for a fabric store. So let's just say she works for Central Fabric. Now that's her business. And let's say it's a long name, and other sewing supplies. So see how the field creates the room to make it work based on our settings for how small or large the text can go. So that's really nice, because if we're running these images off of an automation or in a URL, we want to be able to put in any text field and have it just fit and not overlap with the sides or go off the sides of our image or go over our other elements in the image. And so having those text controls where we can basically control it and say, hey, if it's big or small or whatever, we can just it'll always fit. That's what we want. So, and then we'll make him be Bart's hot dogs. I don't know, whatever. Maybe I want a hot dog, but basically that's how that would work to create, any kind of badges or let's say a certificate for a course, that sort of thing. I'm gonna go ahead and save this template. Let's go ahead and make a new template. I do have a template set up for certificates. So let's go ahead and do a certificate. Let's do a letter, but I want it to go the other direction. So let's swap these. 3300 and 2550. So now it's going to be more of a landscape view. And we're going to go ahead and go next. We're going to call this our certificate. Let's just call it certificate. And then that's going to be our template. So we make a blank canvas. And then it's asking us what we want to put in first. So let's go ahead and upload our certificate that we have, our certificate image. So here's a certificate background. We'll just let it be called certificate background. And then that's going to load onto our stage. And here it is. So let's go ahead and just fill the area with our certificate. And if you push this button right here, it'll make it, well, it depends on, I guess, how much room we have, but it should center it. Okay, so it centers it, and then we can just get our certificate on there. Let's go ahead and swap our background to white instead of transparent. And then you ever gotta hit save, apply. Oh, I think this might actually have this checkered pattern on that layer. That might be what we're seeing. Yeah, that's what it is. So this will let us move it. We can align it inside the space. And then you can see that lined up perfect. What we can do once we have this layer lined up exactly how we want it, so that we don't accidentally do something to that layer, we can just go ahead and lock it. And now that layer is not selectable. And then we can go ahead and add a text layer in here. And this text layer, let's go ahead and zoom in. This is going to be the name of the person earning the certificate. Now you can create the certificate to say like whatever course completion or whatever you want it to say. We want the text to fill the space, so let's go ahead and make a minimum size a little bit bigger on this one. And then let's go with our max text, because we want their name to be fairly large. And then let's decide how wide we want to let them be. Actually, I don't know, it's not letting, okay. Let's just do it right there. And then let's go ahead and put in our variable. So we want to add a variable. We're going to call it name. And then we're going to put in a default value. Bob Smith. So the reason that this variable is not connected to this text yet is because we have to actually connect it. And the way we connect it, we select the text, we select the variable, boom, it's connected. It's also in our snap sheet. So we can make this, and then we can set it up for any number of, just anytime you need a new certificate, you can put it in. And then we can put in a date text here. So go ahead and put in the date. And then what we're going to do is make another variable. We're going to call it date. And then we're going to say, what's the day is 11/23. Or I guess in some parts of the world, let's just write it out, November 24, 2025, or however you do dates where you are. And then we'll go ahead and hit this, hit the date, make sure it's all selected. And now we've got our date, and We can make that fill the space, and we can go ahead and grow the min size and the max size. And now we have, and then we can put in an image for our signature or sign it. I guess we'd have to bring in a separate image for that, or bring in the background with it already having a signature. But now, if we need to create more images, or more images, we'll be able to go in and change the name here on different rows. I'm not creative with my last names lately. Tom Donalds. I don't know. Beverly Wilson. So you've got, and then they can get the certificates on different days. So there's in December. She was actually back in October. So now we have certificates for all of our employees that quickly. And this can just, when we have the Snap pages set up, that's a coming soon feature. But what that will be is you'll basically have a website, and on the website there'll just be a form for a name, or not a form, a field for a name, a field for a date, and then we could actually have a uploadable signature or a signature box. And then that way, if you have employees at your business, or if your clients have employees and they need to just be able to produce these signatures or these certificates on demand, they would be able to just go to that website, put in the field information. It would give them a preview of the image, and then they would just be able to download it or have a link to the image. The other way that would work is when we pass into an API through our JSON, we would pass in the name Bob Smith and the date. And let me see something real quick, because I'm actually working on that for the links, and let me see if we can get it to work. So I'm going to switch over to the one that has those working. Let's see, this is not guaranteed, but possible. And let's see, here's our certificate. Let's go ahead and continue. So here's our certificate. So actually, let's do this one, because I know this one works. So this is actually another template that I made. It's just a really simple review image. And so when we do a new row, or if we pass in data, and I'm going to show you how that works in just a second, but we can actually turn on snap links for that data, and then we can also show our snap URLs should be also, okay. So our links are visible, our URLs are visible, and then we can save the snap link. So it creates a snap link. I'm still working on getting this to work so it generates per row. But basically what we have here, this is kind of going to be a new concept for a lot of you. It's something I use all the time for some of the image customization that I do. But basically what we can do is create a new row here. Let's just say, I know Lovon might be watching this if it worked. So I'm going to copy his name. His name is, let's just do the Americanized version. So I'm going to copy your name, Vincent Lowe. And then let's do his review of this very Facebook Live. Technical difficulties. Ryan did his best. Hopefully he gets better at Facebook Live. SnapLayer is looking rad though. So that's his review of this very Facebook Live. So let's go ahead and center that up. So that's we created that. Now if we go, let's go ahead and it's already saved. So let's go ahead and it actually might ask us to save. So let's go ahead and see what this default link looks like, and I don't know if it's going to follow my link over. It says it uses a credit to do the snap link. Okay, so it did it, but I don't think you guys can see that, and I don't know if on Facebook Live if I can switch my um. See, I don't know how to switch my screen. Uh, I don't know if it lets me. I think if I start on a screen, it makes me stay on that same browser tab. But what if I put? I'm gonna try something. I want you guys to see this, so I'm gonna go ahead and put that link in the browser tab. Now hit enter. And now this is the link I just went to. So it's rendering from this URL right here. Like if you went to this URL, it would render it. It's rendering this URL as an image. Now the really cool thing with this is one URL, but over here is that same slug for the URL. But then after it, and let me zoom in so you can see this. So we'll make our images really small now, but this is another URL. So this URL right here is basically what we call a query string. I asked about this in my in the Facebook community or in the SnapLayer community, and I can actually just collapse these down so you can see it better. I asked if anyone knew what these were, and people didn't really know. But the cool thing about this is you can generate a link, and then it went away. Let me see if I can get it back. I have to do this. It's selected. I guess it did that. Um, let's turn this off and on and generate. Let's randomize it. Generate new slug. Save snap link. So there's our new one. Okay, so this. Okay, that's why. Because we. Okay, so that's something I'm gonna have to work on in the software. Yeah, I guess it doesn't see these if I minimize them. So I was trying to show you what it looked like more, but I'll have to fix that. It should still create this links. But basically what this does, I know it's like I'm kind of dragging on. What this does is this little this link with the question mark. These are actually filling the variables with a value, and you have to put it in an encoded manner. That's why the plus signs represent spaces. But basically we're putting in this whole review into the link, and then the name of the reviewer. And what this would allow us to do is basically works like an API, because if you need a certain image, you can feed in the new text for the image, or even the new image links, and it will create the new image on the fly. So I'm going to show how that works. I copy this URL and I paste it in, and I hit enter, and now SnapLayer is going to create the image from that link of Vincent's review. So what you can do with that, and this is something I do all the time, is you have an image, you have your template set up, you can actually program your automations to put in the user entered values. So say you're in a chat you're programming a chat bot, and the user enters something, and you say you want to use what they gave you, whether it's the image or the text, so that you want to create a certificate for them. You can actually figure out from the automation what user that is, create their certificate, and deliver it right in the chat bot, deliver it right to their email, deliver it in whatever way, because you know their name. You can just put it into the URL and it'll create the image. So that's basically one way to use API type feature. We're going to have an actual API where you send the JSON object and then get an image blob or an image URL back. But this is what I'm working on right now for the snap links, and you'll see it'll talk about that in some of my copy for the sales. So that's basically the things that I wanted to show about SnapLayer. Basically, we have our editor. It's full featured. I guess one thing I didn't show is we have a lot of custom shapes, and then we have these graphs. Let me go ahead and show you the graph feature. But one thing about the graph feature, it's not something that you want to jump into right away, but you can make data driven graphs, and I'll have a whole training on that in our documentation and on the website. This is going to be really good for cold outreach because say that you're doing a cold email campaign and you can basically say reply for an SEO report of your office or your business, or reply to see how you compare to the reviews in your area. Um, you can go ahead and use a template like this. And I do not want to overwhelm anybody, and so this is going to seem a little daunting. Um, we can see all of our data by going full screen. We can adjust the sizes of our rows so we can get a lot of data on here. But to be honest, the way that I created this data is I went into Google and I just grabbed the number of reviews for a few dental offices and then their average star rating, and I just created a one line of the different dental offices for that. And then I took it into AI and I said, hey, I want you to make each one of the different dental offices be the first one in the line and then mix up the other ones in that order and give me a CSV back. And that's how I got my data for this. So what it created is a marketing image. So say I'm trying to market a reputation service for getting more Google reviews and increasing your Google reviews for this area. I can actually offer in a cold email, hey, I have a report about your Google presence compared to your competitors in your area. Just reply, I'd like to see the report, or just reply to this email and I'll send it to you. And then the system could actually create this image based on the data that is already in the spreadsheet. So if you had a whole spreadsheet for your cold email outreach, as long as you have the data in there that you scraped organized in the right way, you can produce these images on demand for the dental office. So point being, this first one would be for Bakersfield Smile Design. If we were sending this to Bakersfield Smile Design, we'd be able to show them that they have 535 reviews total and that they're a 4.8. That's a pretty good comparison to the other offices in their area. But look, Valley Grace has more reviews than them, and they're also at a 4.8. Wouldn't it be great if using our services, we could get them to a 4.9 and get them to 800 reviews so they pass Valley Grace? So they're going to look like the best thing on Google. And then for some of these other offices, you could market this one. I mean, for me, I like to actually go in person. And so I would maybe have these on my phone or print these out and just be able to show them how they compare to the different offices in their area and market my services. You could do the same thing with graphs for SEO services or for other metrics that apply to whatever industry or service that you're selling. Um, but yeah, the way that these graphs are set up is there is you basically would be able to go through the properties of the graph and connect the different series and their values to the sheet. So that is a longer explanation than this live, but you basically can get all of these values into the sheet, and then you can populate the different images on demand from that sheet, and you can deliver them to the customers through cold email. This is something that I really wanted to set up. One of the things we'll be able to do with this is if you've used Gray Metrics or you've used, what was the other one? I actually had it for a while. One of the other reporting softwares, and I can't remember the name. But we're going to set this up to allow deliverables in multi-page PDF. And so you could set up your SEO or marketing or agency report for your different clients, and then you could actually we'll set up connectors to the data for Google Analytics and the web. What's it called on the back end when you connect it to the web metrics? I forgot. I think Search Console. So you'll be able to connect it to Search Console, and then or just to have a way to pull the data over through automation, and then you'd be able to populate your spreadsheets, and then you'd be able to basically automate really nice looking reports, multi-page reports with the different graphs. There's a number of different graph options. It's not just the bar graph. So there's line graphs, area graphs, pie graphs. I can kind of show you what some of these look like. Let's just make a blank canvas, and then let's put in a. Now there's the pie chart. Oh, that didn't work. Um, I don't know if I was showing that console the whole time. Um, let's see. Let's bring it in from here. So I know the donut one is pretty cool, but you can use all these different kinds of graphs to inform your data, and then just remember these graphs. You can go into the properties and set up your okay, you can set up your information inside of the properties. I think there's like a I'm gonna have to look at that too. Um, looks like there's a little issue with that, but I can show you in the actual one we have set up. So one of the things this, as I've explained very clearly in the top of the software, once you do get access, we're in beta, so there's still some things that are I'm working on, making sure everything works correctly. So save your work often. You can export your templates, and then if you run into any problems, you can actually. This is some of you may be familiar with UserBack, but I've got UserBack installed here, so you can come in. You can create a video of the problem, a screenshot. Just tell me what's wrong. I'm pretty quick at fixing stuff. I try to fix anything that you tell me about the same day. Um, the nice thing is that this software is your software too, and so features that you want that you would use for image personalization, stuff that other products don't have. Kind of the reason that I made this is there was all these things that I wanted to be able to do and I just couldn't with the other software that was out there. Just tell me like what you want, what you're looking at. We do have a poll up on the SnapLayer group if you want to join our group and vote. I know that Vincent is very anxious to get the API up and running, so that's a priority now because that's gotten a lot of votes. There's agency features. There's the different like text effects and PSD imports. A lot of things that are on our roadmap, but I just want to know what you're prioritizing. And then we'll also, once we have enough of that, you can put your ideas here. I just put this on here like today, so there's nothing on here. But you can give new ideas and create an account, and it'll tell us your idea. I don't even, you might be able to do it as guest. I'm not sure. And then we'll put the roadmap here, any announcements, and then there is a link to the Facebook group where you can just request to join and become a part of that group. Um, there are I'm just gonna show this. So we do have Black Friday specials going on right now. One of the things that I want people to know about is that I actually let's go down to our features. So you can come on the website and just you can watch some of these videos and learn more about SnapLayer. You can see there's a whole video on the graph and how I do the graph. So if you have a little more interest in how these graphs work, that may be interesting to you. How we do the text control and the different text control options and text sizing, the Snapsheet bulk editor, what Snap Pages and Snap URLs will be, and then how the API is coming soon also. But here's our choices for the LTD. It's saying that it's not available yet and the beta is coming soon. I'm working to get this beta live as soon as possible. So sometime during this Black Friday period, the beta will be available. I'd love to put it out tonight, but I'm still just making sure all the loose ends are tied up and everything's gonna work smoothly for everyone. But we go as low as a very low price plan. We have this discount. It's dropping daily, so the earlier you get in, the more rollover months you'll get, the more bonus credits you'll get, and then the bigger discount you'll get. if you want to go big, if you're an agency, you want to set this up for your clients, you want to be able to sell access, we have these max plans, and we've sold a number of these already. Um, I know the pricing looks daunting. There's some discounts going on, but we do have up to 24-month payment plans. So say you wanted to get the 20 stack, you can actually do it as a payment plan. You've got payments over 24 months as low as 162 a month, and the credits on this are incredible. So you've got 300,000 plus 136,000 pre-launch bonus credits. So you're going to get almost 500,000 monthly credits on the images. You basically have your own little business right here that you could sell access to. Or if you are running a large scale agency and using image personalization to help do cold email or automated chat replies or different ways that you would use the automated images, you have all these credits to use that with. Some people are talking about even wanting to have personalization on websites. I can, that's definitely something we can look at and set that up with. You'd have to use some sort of Chrome extension or ability in an editor to set up where the website's going to be personalized, and then you'd have to be able to inject JavaScript into the head of the website so that it grabs the personalization from the URL or the API. So we could look into that, but these credits are very useful for pretty much anything you're doing with SnapLayer. And if you have it as an agency, you'll be able to white label your links, white label your agency dashboard, white label your logo and colors. So that's all coming. But we have these 24-month payment installments. And then if you do actually go forward, you'll see that as you're going to the payment, you're going to get one more option to, there is a fee involved on the payment plan. But if you actually don't want that plan fee, so in this case, the plan fee to pay in 24 months, if you're paying 162.34 a month, is 702.59. But if you actually triple your first payment, that takes away your whole plan fee. So instead of your total being close to 4,000, you're closer to 3,000 for your total. So just pay a little bit more up front and then make your payments, and you will get the very large agency account with all of those agency features. And when we max stack, I know the LTD world loves unlimited. So agency has really high limits through all the features. But when we max stack it, that's when we start to get unlimited. So we start to get unlimited links, we get unlimited templates, we get unlimited sub accounts. If you 30 max stack, you've got unlimited for all of your agency. The only thing you're really limited on that 30 stack is your total number of credits. But because you're getting a stack bonus, you're getting your regular credits from your purchase. Then you're getting your pre-launch bonus, which goes down every day, so the sooner the better. And then you're getting your max stack bonus. You end up with a very large credit bank monthly, and you're getting your 5-month rollover. So if you don't use these credits, they accumulate. So if you don't use credits for 5 months, you've got 3,500,000 credits that you could use that month if you needed to, if you're just blowing it up. Obviously, that's a lot of credits to use every month, but as you build an agency and you use this feature and you give your clients access, you'll be able to start using those credits for your clients and for your image personalization. So explore the website, look at our different features. If there's different little blurbs that will tell you what different things are and explain the features. So you can kind of read about what different things do. And I explained some of this right now in the live. I actually don't even know if this worked. So hopefully it did, and hopefully some people got to watch and learn about SnapLayer. I did offer some discounts during this. And so I know those discounts are right in the post for the event. So if you watch this and you're interested in those discounts, just hit up SnapLayer. On Facebook, it's just facebook.com/SnapLayer. That's the page. Message us at the page SnapLayer. There's a number of us that will make sure we're covering that around the clock. And then just mention the live that I did and some of the things. Oh, I didn't even tell you. So basically, you can earn an LTD. So you don't have to. You can earn an LTD or hopefully buy an LTD, and then you'll earn an extra stack of that LTD. So basically, what you want to do is you want to find someone like Vincent. He'll give you a code. If you have a code, in some of my posts, there's a code. I know this one works. Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that'll get you in. But I would prefer that you use someone that's already bot's code or someone that's already in the system. Hit up Vincent Van Low. I don't even know Low Van Vo, and he will definitely give you his code every day. You use the code and you get in, and what you're going to be able to do once you're in is you're going to be able to play these scratcher cards. And let's see, I got a card to play. Oh no, these are expired. If you don't play them in time, they expire. But basically, when you sign up, you're able to get a scratcher card. When you scratch it, you earn bonus credits for your LTD. And then if you, once you, every day you can generate a new code. And then you can share the code on social media. You can pick your image or your feature that you want to share about. Sorry about my cough. So there's a number of images. You can kind of hit random and pick what image you want to share about. These just talk about the different features of SnapLayer. Share these with your code. Someone uses your code and plays. They're going to double their credits that they earn from their scratcher card. And you're going to get a new scratcher card to play. And even better, each day that you share, you extend your streak. And if you get 20 days of sharing in a row, you get a free LTD. And that LTD is the solo. But if you purchase any of the tiers, then let's go back to the website. If you purchase any tier, then your LTD that you earn will be that same tier of the highest tier. So say you bought agency, you pay once for agency, you do the 20 days, you get another agency stack. So you get a 2 stack. You double your credits. If you bought a max stack, you're just gonna add to that stack. So whatever you buy, it'll get matched. If you don't buy anything, you do get the solo. And then I said for the webinar, for this live, if you watch the live, just mention that and we will double your stack. So you would actually get a 2 stack of solo or a 2 stack of anything else. So double your trouble. But you got to mention the live. You got to tell me you watched this all the way to the end. And the idea with this is that these codes, they can be shared in the SnapLayer group in our Discord channel, which we have links to on the website. But also the idea is to share them in different LTD groups, let people made aware that this is a new image personalization software, that it has, all these features that are different than what's already out there. And basically it's a personalization software, but it's also a reporting software. There's a lot of uses for this tool in the marketing world. It's a cold email image generation software. It can be used in, like we talked about with the chat bots and different emails of different things that you want to email the customers. You can use it to create product images, variations. I think I've got a whole list on the website, but just all kinds of image variations, social media posting. So you create a template and then you can create just tons of different posts along that template, just with different quotes and texts. Anything that you'll use image personalization for, you can use with SnapLayer, but with the added benefit of the things we're adding, such as the graphs and the easy use of setting up all your variations in the snap sheets. So I'd love to see some questions on this live when I post it. Any questions that you have, or just DM me or DM SnapLayer, and we'll hook you up with your bonuses. And thanks for watching. I look forward to hearing back from everybody. Thanks.